Hello, I'm Derek Monroe. Come along with me as I interview some of the industry's top beauty insiders, along with a few celebs, on this episode of Behind the Scenes Beauty. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Scenes Beauty. Today I have with me the first makeup artist in my series. He's a friend, he is Emmy nominated, and he is the co-founder of a new beauty product called Luvanya Beauty. I have with me none other than the Merrell Hollis. I guess we should insert applause. Okay, Merrell, so this is going to be sort of interesting because I met you at the Wendy show, 2009. It was 2009. I was there with a friend. Actually, that was my first television gig ever, and it was all by accident.
Who were you there with?
I was there with Essence was doing a fashion show, and the girl I came with was helping to style. Talia, which is over at Tamara now, she knew me from LA. We lived in LA together. Y'all were behind. You only had one hair and makeup person, and he was doing both. D'Angelo, yeah. So then they brought me, she was like, can you help? And I helped. And then D'Angelo was like, oh, you're great. I'll use you from now on. And that's how I started doing that drive from, that 8-hour drive in the lease, all the way from Virginia, all the way to the Wendy show.
You and Antoine were both doing that.
Yep, Antoine. And that's why we connected too, because he was coming from North Carolina.
Right.
So anyway, that's our history of how we met. So tell us about your career. Tell us how you became the Merrell Hollis. Because first of all, let's go over you worked with Puff. You worked with, everyone knows you for the Wendy show, but you are an amazing groomer. People don't know that you're a barber. Like, actually, when I first moved to New York, you was cutting my hair, but you just weren't consistent in giving me an appointment.
Because you know I'm real moody. That's why I couldn't even be.
He want to cut hair one day. Then
so moody. I'm not doing it today. And you'll be on the books. Look, I'm not cutting hair today, y'all. I'm rescheduling for.
And so that's why I ended up having to find a real barber. But yeah, so you a great groomer. You work with Travis Scott. You work with Usher. You work with Diddy. From the ladies, there's Niecy Nash,
Sanaa Lathan, Regina King. I worked with Naomi for a short period of time.
You'd work with Kim Porter too, right?
Kim Porter is now my angel. That is actually who ushered me into this whole. She's the one who gave me my wings and pretty much ushered me to Puff.
Okay.
So,
well, we're gonna build up to that, but we're gonna scale back.
All right.
Okay, because I was going through other people's interviews and stuff of you. So you actually started out, how did you start out in makeup?
Okay. So.
Really? Is
you
that
know
how
me,
yeah.
Well, you know me, and you know I am, everyone knows I'm just always a little boy crazy. I've always been boy crazy my whole little life. But I started out in Columbus, Georgia. And I had this girlfriend who was like my best friend in high school. She was the first girl, I'm gonna get real, just real regular.
Go ahead.
So in high school, she was the prettiest girl in the town in Columbus, Georgia. She was Asian and black. She had breast implants. She was the only person I met that was like that. She was just like everything. She had all this hair, but we were in high school.
Right.
And she got casted to be in a 112 video shoot.
Okay.
So, and I won't say that part, because that could get that guy in trouble. So she was like, I know you love 112 because remember, Cupid. That was like my favorite song. So I was like, oh my God, I love 112. So she was like, guess what? I'm gonna be in the video. And I was like, you lying. So she was like, yeah, it's gonna be in Atlanta, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, ooh, and I was already sneaking to Atlanta anyway to go to the clubs anyway, in high school.
Help us, Lord. Okay.
So she told me where it was. It was like on a Saturday or something, and my mom had to work third shift. And see, that was the first problem.
See, that's when you know you live in the South, because it's third shift.
Third shift. So I would drop her off at work at like 10:30, and then I just had to like pick her up in the morning, and then she would drop me off at school. So that was our thing, so that I can have the car, knowing I shouldn't have been out after 11 anyway.
No, right, what you need a car for?
Well, I needed the car to get around in case I need to go to the store. Of all people that didn't need a car.
No. Of all people that did not need the car, was you. Continue.
So it was at the Georgian Terrace, which is right across from the Fox Theater. So I was like, well, all right. So I parked the car in some parking lot, and then I went to the front of the Georgian Terrace where the entrance is. And I was like looking in there, and I was like, oh Lord, it was like so many people and all this stuff, but there were security guards and all that stuff. So I was just thinking like, how am I gonna get in here? And of course she wasn't answering her phone.
Right.
Of course she wasn't. So I'm like, oh, how am I gonna get in here? So the first thing, I went back in my car and I sat down and I was like, makeup. Because whenever I would watch like videos and like movies and stuff, I always heard them say, makeup. So I was like, oh, makeup artist. So I went to, I think it was a CVS or something right there. And it was like this tiny little brush set, because I really didn't have much money because I need to have gas to get home.
So you just became an imaginary makeup artist.
Right.
I'm a makeup artist.
Because I wasn't driving all that way up there not to see 112.
Okay, got you.
So.
And bought brushes, but no product.
No product whatsoever. In a little plastic thing. And the brushes were this tall. This tall.
Brushes.
The little trial thing.
Okay, you better brush.
So I went to the front, and mind you, I was dressed up.
Okay.
Because I ain't never been nowhere. So I was dressed up. So I went in, I was like, oh, I'm the makeup artist. He didn't know. He was just like, this little punk coming in here. Let me just let this little queen come in here. So I went in, and I am looking all around for her, but also simultaneously looking for 112 or anybody else that I could see up in there. And one of the security or grip or something like that alerted the key makeup artist and hair that there was this little punk walking around set and pretending to be the makeup artist. So then Maurice Beeman, who later becomes my mentor, he grabbed me and was like, you got to put all this stuff up because security's going to get you. Like, you're in trouble right now. Like, you could get arrested. And the only thing that you can do you're going to have to come into the makeup trailer and you're going to have to work with us so that you don't get in trouble. Aww. I didn't know what that meant, but he got a free assistant that day. Okay. I was so just enamored by him and his artistry. And one of the greats,
because you were a makeup artist that day with no product.
Right. So then, that was my little brush set, which you had.
With your brush set. You came to slay, friend. But continue.
So that is what happened. So that ended up being my first job. No pay.
So does
24 hours. I was late to pick my mama up.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Because I left probably right at 8. So I was 2 hours late.
Are you explaining to her, how do you even explain that to her? That you had stole the car to go do something else but ended up working?
Now mind you, told her that I didn't hear the alarm to wake up. And she's like, what you was doing where you couldn't wake up in the morning?
Okay.
And I was like, I was just tired. And mind you, the speedometer, the miles on the car, tells you how far you went. And she's like, where'd you go? And I was like, thinking, how do you know?
She was a mama for real, because she was paying attention.
Mama. Yeah, so that's how I started. And from there, 112 became my first group. And then that moved on to Jagged Edge, which moved on to pretty much everyone in Atlanta, all the videos, Ludacris, all that.
Okay, so then what made you decide to move to New York?
I had pretty much done every single thing in Atlanta. The one thing that, when I said that I wanted to be a makeup artist, my mama was like, no, you ain't.
Right.
Like, what are you gonna do? Because the older generation, you need something that's gonna have a pension. Like, how you gonna make money playing in makeup? Right. You know what I mean? So she was like, you need to go to, if you're gonna do this, because she's always 100% been behind me, you're gonna go to aesthetic school. So then I went and did, to be an esthetician, I went to aesthetic school. I went to barber school because I need to learn how to cut hair. And then I went to American Intercontinental for fashion and fashion, merchandising, and marketing, and all that stuff. So she was like, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna be the best.
Okay.
So you need to know every single thing. So I had done everything. I'd worked at spas. I've worked at every retail store. I've worked for just about every brand because I would get bored with one brand and I'm like, oh, I want to go to Clinique. Clinique seems like it's too many teenagers coming up here. I need to, So then I went to Borghese. Then I was like, well, I don't really know how to do black skin. Let me go to Fashion Fair. So then I went to Fashion Fair. And then, then I was like, I need to learn how to mix foundations. Then I went to, God, what was that brand? Anywhere was a brand that would custom make your foundations.
Gotcha.
And that was like the luxury part. So when I was at Neiman Marcus, and then I transferred to Saks to work for Laura Mercier. And then, I became a regional, and then, I was traveling a little bit, but it just wasn't enough. You know what I mean? I did every video. I got tired of doing video girls and all that stuff, and also part-time working at the strip club, doing the girls for the strip club. I just got kind of tired of that, and I was like, I want to be in the magazines, and I want to, Upscale magazine.
Right.
No, I love Upscale,
right,
but it's only gonna take you so far.
Right.
Bronner Brothers Upscale, and that's pretty much my base, and I'm grateful for them. I was just like, I wanted more, so one of my closest friends at the time was like, I'm moving to New York. And I was like, well, I'm moving with you. It took me a year because I got scared. But I eventually moved up, and one of the incentives was I was also working with Kim Porter. That was my celebrity in Atlanta.
So because she's from Georgia as well?
She's from Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you even meet her?
I met her through a close friend of mine. His name is Patrick Cooper. He was like the fashion stylist, amazing. Like when he walked through the room, like everyone noticed him. So me and him were cool. That was like my hangout buddy. And he was like, I want you to do Kim Porter's makeup. And I was like, yeah. So I did her for a shoot with Sean Coates. I'll never forget it. It was phenomenal. And Puff loved it. And I was like her makeup artist.
What's funny about your career is you sort of did it backwards. Most people start out doing makeup in the cosmetic stores and stuff like that. And then they say, oh, I want to be a celebrity artist.
Yeah.
You was a celebrity artist for a 112 video, then decided to scale back and go.
Well, I had to scale back.
Right.
Because you know how we get paid with those things?
Right.
30, 90 days. And then back then it was like 120 days. Like sometimes you didn't get the check.
Check it out.
Check is in the mail.
All you could do
could
is
you
just
resend your W-9? Can you resend this?
Right.
And I didn't even know how to do all that. So like I had to get a real job because I couldn't keep my phone on.
Right.
And I definitely had to pay for my outfits for the club.
Listen, that's the most important thing. Priorities is always
Priorities.
key. So you decided you moved to New York. It took you a year to get here with your friend. Mm-hmm. What did you do? What are you doing when you get here to New York?
So when I first moved here, Kim walked me into Bad Boy. I think I was just because she had moved up here. She had transitioned to move to New York because she was just flying back and forth. So that was like, okay, well, at least I'll have, a client there. So that was my client. And then I met Puff, and, that's when I started working.
At this time, were they dating or were they more friends?
They were dating, basically engaged because she had the baby, and it was that whole thing. So then I because the only thing I knew to continue making money was to freelance at the stores. So I worked at Saks, Laura Mercier, and I was a freelance artist there. And there's a lot of celebrities that come in and out, and I started building my outside clientele there because I really wasn't selling anything because I was a makeup artist, but they want you to sell, and I'm just not that person. That's why I would always get fired, because I'm not going to. If you have a mascara that you like, and my mascara is not that great, I'm not gonna make you buy my mascara. I'm gonna take you to the other place, and and they're like, should I buy all this? And I'm like, you don't want all this stuff. Just get the stuff that you need, child. And they would get so mad when I would say that, because but I'm like, I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell people the wrong thing, just to.
Right.
I'm getting my. I think it was like $25 an hour. I'm getting my money anyway.
Right.
I don't make commission, so
Right.
the cashiers make commission, which I never really understood, because all you doing is hitting that dang thing, and I'm up here doing all the hard work.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But,
so you're working. So she introduced you to Puff.
She introduced me to Puff, and well, not really introduced me like that. I was just with her.
Gotcha.
So,
So you started being around.
Yeah. So then, what really happened? How the big break, like for me, happened when I really broke into New York is on Christmas. It was my first Christmas. I had just moved up there. So she was like, "Oh, you're going to St. Barts." So I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm thinking that's like Puerto Rico or something, because I'd never been out the country at all. I didn't have a passport or anything.
Right.
So this was like December 22nd. I was visiting my mother at home, and she was like, "Yeah, so you have to. They're gonna get your ticket. Blah 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 blah. What's your passport number?" And I was like, "Well, where is St. Bart's?" So she's like, "Oh, it's like the French part of next to St. Martin and all that stuff." I still didn't know.
Right.
And we weren't really using Google back there, and I definitely wasn't looking on that map. So I was like, well, okay, I guess I'm going out the country.
So since you didn't have no passport, how did you get you out there?
They had to rush me back up to, and I didn't have no money. So they had to fly me back, send me a car to go to the passport office. I had to get a expedited passport, which they give it to you right then.
Right.
It's like $300 or $400. So then I'm at home. I didn't know that they have to send your ticket. So when you land in St. Bart, you land really in St. Martin, and then you take a boat or a
ferry
plane.
or whatever.
Yeah, ferry. I didn't know nothing about that. And in St. Martin, they didn't have the computer system that we have here, so they didn't have electronic tickets. My ticket was in my mailbox.
Ow.
So when I got there,
You didn't have
I didn't have no money.
Oh my
I
gosh.
had like $40. This is because I'm young, I'm dumb.
Right.
I don't even know. I'm thinking, well, they pay for everything, so I don't need to have no money.
Ooh.
Just crazy.
It's the hard knock life, friend.
Hard knock life. But here's the thing. So then I got to St. Martin, and they were like, so where's your other ticket to connect you to the next flight that's going to take you over? And I was like, well, I don't. And they saw the ticket there, so I didn't have the ticket. And also, my phone didn't work because I didn't know that you need to call T-Mobile to tell them that I was leaving out the country. So I had no phone, no money, and I was just sitting there on the dock crying.
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
Sitting on the dock of the bay because I was lost.
Right.
There was nobody that was going to find me.
Right.
Who knew? There was nothing.
So what happened?
So then Curtis, the Puff's barber, just happened to walk out, and I just looked at him and I was like, Curtis, and he was like, what's wrong with you? Like, I was bawling.
Right.
I was like, I don't know what to do. And he was like, man, come on. So that's also how me and Curtis got really close. And then we bought a ticket for the ferry, and then we went across.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on that trip, because I was the only makeup artist, nobody else bought makeup artists.
Right.
That's why I ended up meeting Kim Cattrall and doing her makeup, Mary J. doing her makeup, Naomi doing her makeup, Carl Thomas, because Carl Thomas' album had just came out, that bomb album.
Yes.
And I was literally there with all those celebrities, and they treated me like I was one of them.
Right.
BJ Coleman was there because he was working with Russell Simmons and Kamora Lee. And, it was just like we were just all friends. And BJ definitely taught me a lot, like, stop being so country. Stop doing this. And you need to,
Right.
But I was innocent. Everyone pretty much knew, like, he's harmless. I mean, he's harmless. Like,
Right.
he literally does not know anything. And he's just so happy to be here.
Right.
Jumping in conversations, asking somebody, can you, like, looking at Mary talking about, can I taste that?
Right.
And just
you did not do that.
yeah, like, can I taste that?
Oh
Or,
my gosh.
Going to Kim Cattrall and being like, you need a refill, girl. And I go get something, and, it was just.
Well, but at the same time, that's probably what made them so endearing to them, because you were being, they get tired of the facades and everybody being so fake and stuff. Okay, so did the agent come to you, or you went after an agent?
So,
because everyone always wants to know how that works.
I would love to say something like that, because that's it took me a very, very long time to find an agent. I knew that I needed an agent because that's just what I heard. Like, I know.
Everybody
And then, Crystal Wright came out with a book, and I had that Crystal Wright book, and it taught me, like resumes and finding an agent and all that stuff like that. So my first agency, and I will call her out, her name was Deborah Martin, and it was a Deborah Martin agency. And let me tell you something. She had all like really, really good top people, and I came on as like a junior. You know what I mean? I didn't have a really big book. All my stuff was Bronner Brothers, upscale. I thought my book was fire. I went to Pearl Paint and got that little metal book and put all my stuff in the sleeves off a color copier in paper. Put it ready for New York.
I'm not even gonna tell you my story for LA. I went with Polaroid pictures. Listen, go ahead, tell it.
So I had that, and they were like, "Oh, I had a little Walmart ad and a local thing, and so I was pretty much assisting like all the big people. Never got paid. No one got paid. Deborah Martin left and moved to Italy and took everyone's money. Everybody's money.
So how long is she running this agency before you
For
guys?
years, but I came in on the last, basically on her Ponzi scheme on the end of it. So that was my first thing. Never got paid.
Oh my gosh!
Like, it was really, really not a great experience, and so I was pretty much,
So you probably were working with her for how long?
About 6 months.
Okay, so
and I assisted, and I worked like carrying bags and going to get coffee and all that stuff. Sometimes using my own money to get the coffee because they forgot to give me the money, and but I just didn't want to say anything because these people were like so big. So I was like, well, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is me paying my dues.
Yep, paying your dues.
Yeah, and then after that happened, I went to Bradley Curry, which is, they were the people who told me, you need to go to House of Portfolio because let us show you what portfolios are supposed to look like. I went in there with a big, I'm going to turn it because I was top in Atlanta in my mind. So he brought out these books and the pictures were so clear. Some of the pictures, like, I was just like, oh, this is how it's supposed to look. And then I went to another agency, and this is when I really started working. And I was like doing like little things with L'Oreal and Dark and Lovely and things of that nature.
Because we also talked in a former interview with Chuck Amos and Oscar James about them doing the boxes of Dark and Lovely.
Right.
And he was the makeup artist for those.
Right.
So a lot of times when you bought hair color, he had did the makeup for all those models.
And they kept that box for almost 20 years.
Your work lived on forever.
Billboards and everything.
So you're doing L'Oreal, all those different things.
Yeah, but I was also doing Black Men's Swimsuit, SXSW, whatever those things with all the pretty girls and all that stuff. Because
Smooth Magazine.
Smooth Magazine.
That was my first.
I got many covers with Smooth Magazine.
That was my first print job. Smooth Magazine, and the girl was that was how she was. Yeah.
Oil in that butt, using hairspray, oil sheen to make the body real glistening.
Yes.
Yeah. So
shout out to Smooth.
Okay. Shout out to Smooth. What else? So then I got really, really burnt with another agency. I will not say this name because now I love who the person is, and things happen. People are young and they do things, so you have to forgive. But this other agency sent me out a lot, and I had very good jobs, even when I would do stuff for L'Oreal. But my check every single time was $500. All we can give you is $500. All we can give you is $500. So Shauna Miller at Soft Sheen Carson, she was the one, like, that was my backbone. Mm-hmm. I love Shauna Miller. We were just having a conversation, and she was like, "Ooh, what you gonna do with this check?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I really, I can't really do much for $500. And she was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, well, I'm only getting paid $500, and I was working 10 to 12 hours.
Ooh.
She's like, your check is, I'll just throw out the thing. Your check was 37. We got you at 37. And I was like, what? That agent
was taking all your money.
All of it. And the 20% off the 500. And the 20% off the 500.
So by the time you got your check, and then they gonna take some taxes off
Took the taxes.
On the back here. So you got $5 for them jobs. Is what you telling me? Oh my God, friend.
So then I
didn't realize this was gonna be a counseling session.
It was hard.
You haven't been through free. Oh my Lord.
So then I went back and I took every single thing, and I called them out, and Shauna gave me the check, and I was like, I don't know how long you've done this. I didn't even sue or do anything because I didn't.
Right.
I was just so innocent and young, and I didn't know what was going on, and all this stuff was thrown at me. I was working with celebrities. I don't know how things are. So many shoots you do, and you don't get paid, or you're still waiting, or you forget, and So that's when I met Kim Barboza, and Kim Barboza was literally one of the best agents that I had because he was. He had no daddy around when I was growing up, so he was really literally.
Tell it, friend.
My mom was my dad, and a great one. He literally was like a dad to me. Not only booking me on jobs and actually giving me a larger rate that I didn't even know existed.
Right.
But he pretty much ushered me into everything and my insecurities and me being scared on set. And now I'm getting to work with Oscar and Chucky, and I'm like, well, I hope they like me.
Right.
And, these big people, and, he made me secure and made me know that I was enough.
Right.
And they're gonna love you, trust me.
Right.
They're gonna love you, trust me. And I'm like, okay.
And that you're equally as talented and you belong there.
Right.
Okay, so do you think that having an agent is still as instrumental as it used to be? Because when we were starting, there was no social media. There were no avenues for us to be seen. So in order for you to even get out there, you definitely had to have an agent. Now, I didn't have one. I never had one.
Right.
I've always had relationships with people. I always say God is my agent. He always directed me to the next person.
And when I tell you God has been working for you.
He's been doing pretty good.
He's been doing great.
But do you feel like, because I feel like when people are watching this, different makeup artists, different people that are aspiring, because I always get, the biggest question I always get is, how do I get there? How do I get started? So do you think they're as instrumental today as they were?
I think going to an agent or a manager is so important. The reason why is because you're just starting out and you are super talented and you're amazing at what you do, you don't know the business side of it.
True.
You don't know what the rates are supposed to be. And that's honestly why the rates have went down. Because there's, people that are reaching out to celebrities because they want the clout of it, and they're doing it for free just to get the picture.
Yeah.
A picture can't pay my client
For
bill,
Instagram.
and they will come and turn it off at the.
Yes, they will.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Will.
So you don't, unless you live with your mama or you were born rich,
Right.
That way doesn't work. So you also need an agent and an agency or a manager to help groom you for when you get on set. So you know that you can't be smoking on set.
Right.
You can't bring your girlfriends upset. You
Right.
can't be eating while you're watching the monitor.
Right, talking on the phone.
You need to know set etiquette.
Make
you need
sure
to
you're
know,
there on time.
Yeah, and then
before the shoot. Before
the
time.
shoot.
Yeah.
You need to be, I'm there when they're setting up because I just need to be able to set up properly. I need to be able to walk around. I want to eat. I want to sit down and just relax and just calm down.
Can I be honest? I am not that person. I get there right. I'm that person struggling in with my bag, like
Stealing the snacks.
Right. Listen, I am notorious for stealing your craft. I ain't gonna lie. Don't come to me with no gummy bears or stuff. I'm taking them. And just like any other green room and place I'm in, I'm always taking all the snacks.
All of the snacks.
Look, all the snacks. Look. All right. So let's talk about the Wendy show. How did you and Wendy come across?
With Wendy, and at the time I was working very, very heavy with Bad Boy. Like, you know, we had just done like, we had just came off of like a not Bad Boy tour, but Puff had just did an album. And also—
Did you work on Making the Band and stuff?
I worked on Making the Band, Who Wants to Work for Diddy, all seasons, everything, except for the first season of Making the Band. That was a Shunta. And then Shunta left for Alicia Keys, and then that's when I came in. Yeah, I worked on all those, every single show. So I was working with that. So I was working with him, staying up all them hours because he don't sleep. Can't stop, won't stop. You get what I'm saying? And he is the one that will come into me. You sleep, baby boy? You sleep? And in my mind, I'm like, why are you up? And then we just came from the club. And then we got to go. I'm like, oh. Like, he's still like that. But
that's why he rich.
That he is rich because he deserves it.
Exactly.
He deserves every single penny that's in that bank.
Now I'm praying that God do it a little different for me because I like to sleep.
Me too. And in the middle of the day.
Right.
So with me and Wendy, Hadia started doing her first, and me and Hadia were doing like shoots, and you know, I love Hadia. We're Sages. We're connected. We've always been connected. And
Hadia was her makeup artist.
Hadia was her hairstylist.
Right.
She was turning them wigs.
Yes.
And she was already, I think she was already working with Wendy when she got the call for the pilot. And she was like, hey, do you want to do the test, you know, with the pilot for Wendy? And I was like, well, I don't know. So when I went back, because I was also working at Bad Boy, so when I went, and I had not been in New York this whole time, and I also didn't have a car. Gotcha. So I didn't listen to the radio. I didn't know who this woman was at all. So I was like, okay. So then I was excited, and I told Curtis and a couple of people about it, and they were like, ooh, are you sure you're gonna do this? And I was like, well, why not?
Right.
And they were like, you should probably tell Puff that you're gonna do it. And I was like, well, why? I ain't never told him about any other thing that I do. And then they started playing me tapes and stuff like that. And I was like, oh. So then I went to him and I was like, and I'll never forget this because I was so scared. I was like literally shaking. And I was like, so I got a call to do this lady for a talk show. And he was like, who? And I was like everybody keeps telling me that I need to tell you, but I don't think I should tell you. He's like, like, what's the damn name, fool? And I was like, Wendy Williams. He was like, all right, cool. And I was like, see, I knew it wasn't gonna be no problem. I don't know why they had me all scared. He was like, who had you scared? And I was like, I don't know. And the reason that I know that, it was a beef because, I work with celebrities, and then Wendy talks about the celebrities. So I'm always, this is where I have that little, it's like a weird thing because I love her.
Of course.
I know a different side of her that no one else knows, and I cherish that part. I know Puff, and I know parts of him that people don't know because we've been around so long, through the birth of the baby. I was the first to tell everyone, like when Kim was pregnant with the twins, I was the first to notice where she was walking around and I looked and I was like, you pregnant? And Puff was like, how the hell you know that? And I was like, I know her body. I know every inch of her body because she was like my muse. So I was like, your stomach don't never stick out. Like even when she eats, her stomach is almost concave. And it was a bump. And I was like, that don't look right. And because I've been in the industry for so long and I've worked with all these celebrities, I was nervous about going on to that because I didn't know. But I realized that right then that Puff knew the character of me. You. And he knows that I'm not going to go to her and be like, girl, and blah, 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 blah. And when I was on set with that, blah, 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 blah. And the same thing with her. That stuff that goes on with her, especially with the recent events. Nobody's gonna know about that
Right.
because it's nobody's business. True. Now she like to tell the business, but I ain't her.
Right.
And that's just, I've never been that gossiper, and I've never looked at celebrity anything different than who I am, because the way I walked into this world was basically on the boat with them, partying, getting drunk with all them, and they treated me the same. So I know it's like having a close friend, and they tell me something like, why would I spread it?
Right.
But she's just doing her job. So
right.
Yeah, I don't know how we got on that tangent.
No, it was because you know what, it's a point that needs to be made, and I think, like I said, I do these videos so that people can also take away and learn, and especially people that are coming up. And the one thing I want them to walk away with is what you just spoke about, is the fact that mind your business.
Mind your business.
And that's really key is trust.
Trust is how you remain in the industry and working 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Yeah.
And, still being current.
Exactly, because you can separate and compartmentalize different people's situations and not cross them over and try. And, because it was funny when I was growing up, gossip used to be what made you interested if you had something to tell.
Right.
But then you realize now it's the thing that can be the death of your career. And especially for us.
And I learned that from even friends, because, me moving from the country, moving to, from Atlanta, then moving to New York, there's a different type of people up here. So I come from a very kind of a humble beginning, and that's also my simple way of thinking. So even my friends, I didn't know you were hanging around with me because I hang with Puff. I thought you liked me because you liked me.
Because you like me, right.
I never knew that most of these people, most of my friends from when I first moved here and I was hanging with them, I have no relationship with them anymore, because I didn't know that
it was about a come up.
It was about a come up. Because I don't think like that.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I never, this whole clout thing, I don't understand. I need to be friends with you because you have this follower and that, or I need to upgrade my friends, or, what, why?
Listen, I do not hang out with nobody that I do not genuinely like.
Right, period. That's just what it is.
Because God is my agent, he will connect me to who I need to get connected to. So
and I had to learn to ask for that prayer, the prayer of discernment. And I never understood why I kept certain people that would come in my life that would kind of take me off my path, and I allowed it. And, that prayer literally brought me, just kind of aligned me to where I was going, because I was everywhere.
Right.
I was all over the place, all over the place, doing some of everything. And I am just so thankful that
the hand of God was on you.
I am still here. Okay. I'm still here.
I know we talk about we talk about that. That's our favorite song by the Rhythm Clucker. I'm still here.
I'm still here, and it's by the grace. Ooh, y'all, it's by the grace of God.
So let's talk about your newest venture, which is.
Hold on.
Oh.
I know.
No, for real.
Cause even.
You want to get some water?
Yeah. I'm sorry, friend.
No, friend. About to make me Barbara Walters. Give me these tears. Keep this, Ben. We're going somewhere. Tell the story, friend. Tell it. Right. No, but tell us. I do want to know what brought you to tears, though.
So, sorry, y'all. I had to take a little break.
No.
It is a lot. New York, when you come from, even though my mom is amazing, my mom is great. My mom is also, sorry, y'all see all that foundation. My mom is from humble beginnings too. So when you come here to the big city and you see all this stuff and you're thrown into, this whole celebrity world and you don't know that much, you get a lot of bumps and bruises, and you have a lot of things that can take you off path. And you don't know any better. I didn't know any better. You know what I mean? I spent all my money. I remember
You didn't think about savings.
No, I don't think about no savings. I was gonna get a check next week, so let me just.
Because you think it's gonna last forever,
and that's why I had a lot of friends too, because I was buying everything.
Right.
You know, buying everything. One of my friends used to call my apartment the house of refuge because I let everybody who wanted to get on their feet come stay with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that got on their feet to stay with me, and I don't care because that's just how I am. Wherever I have, you have. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none.
Right.
It is no fun. So I guess, that's probably kind of what, brought me to tears. It's just knowing that there's a lot of things that I took for granted that, in my life and how I was set up. I was set up multiple times, like really set up, and lost it. Set up, lost it, set up. And apparently God has a purpose for me because, out of all the stuff that I've been through, I cannot believe that I still look young. And I'm reminded by people that are like,
that people that went through the same thing you went through
don't look the same.
They either ain't here or
or
what they went through shows.
Right. So, that's that thing where it's like, God must have a little bit more of a purpose for you because, when you're older in this industry, when these young clients and these young girls come around, they kind of don't want to really work with you because they feel like maybe they have to, in my opinion, maybe you don't know, or maybe you're dated, or maybe, you're not like the, 18-year-old that, does makeup or hair or whatever like that. But that's why I constantly test and constantly do shoots and constantly watch what everyone's doing because I have to stay on trend along with, looking young.
Of course.
I think that's why I look young. It's not because of genetics. God is like, you're going to need a little more time to get this together, child. Let me keep this.
let me keep you in this lane.
Let me keep you
doing the same thing for me, too, because I'm going to tell you the truth.
You're going to need a little more time to really get it together. So, yeah, I feel like I am surrounded by great people, and I am more focused because my friend circle changed. Every single thing changed, not for who got the most clout, but who had my best interest at heart, and who actually uplifts me, and I can actually, they doing that? Oh, friendly competition.
Yeah.
We're uplifting each other, and it's.
Right, because I think you're coming out with a show called Behind the Makeup.
Tune in.
To the younger people then, what is the one thing you would leave with them to say? Especially because social media is so prevalent, and now certain artists and celebrities are just handpicking these people. And they, like you said, they don't know nothing about rates, so they doing jobs for $100, $200. They just happy to be in that world. They're just happy they've that access and everything. What is the one thing that you would pass on? What are you telling them?
I would definitely say your career and work comes in waves. You can start out high, and that's me. You start out, boom, and you have to realize that with your clients, we are in the service industry, period. Now, if you have another goal in mind, and this is just your way of getting, to where you need to be, do it authentically. Yeah. Don't do it fake, because people who are authentic can actually see that. And keep your mouth shut. Stop telling people's business, and stop talking about other people, because it doesn't make you look better.
Right.
It doesn't make you look like you're the best. It makes you look like you're hurting and you're insecure.
Right.
So you don't have to talk about, well, I didn't like that makeup and that hair and, you have to remain humble, because the same people you see going up and you step on to get up there,
You're going to see them coming
Sometimes they passing you on their way up and you on your fall down.
Exactly.
And it's happened to me. It's happened that's happened to me when I had all that money.
Right.
And I was just, doing all this stuff, just spending and buying every new bag, every new thing, literally, I can't. But I was young. I didn't know any better. And, I built fake friends.
Yeah. To add on to that, I would also say character. Because I know some people that are not that great of a hairstylist or that great of a makeup artist or that great of a fashion stylist. But what I will say is their character takes them everywhere. And you're like, how in the world are they working with so-and-so? How did they do that? Because when I look at it, in comparison, but it's sometimes people just love the security of a great person.
Right. So. Because that you got to realize also your celebrities are some of the most insecure people.
True.
And that's why they breed drama and all that stuff, and that's what makes news. And another thing I'd like to say is make sure you understand what your craft is.
Yeah.
Don't take a class on makeup one-on-one. The next thing you know, you're doing classes. I can't stand when y'all do that.
Oh, I hate that.
I can't stand it. Now you're doing classes because you know everything now.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I understand that's the means of making money, but make sure you know, because now you're training other makeup artists to do the wrong things too.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like it's like when a little girl go on YouTube and do her makeup for the first time and then she walks outside.
Right.
Insert clown emoji. You get what I'm saying? Like it looks crazy. So, learn your craft, study, don't just, you can always train. I still take classes till this day.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I still take classes. I still look at other, makeup artists in their classes,
Yeah.
There's still people that I look up to that are actually younger than me that I love their hands. I love their hands. But you have to just stay humble and just know that there's going to be ebbs and flows. So save your money.
Save it.
Pay your taxes.
Yes.
And, do those things.
And I'm going to say this, and then we're going to move on to your product. I also want to say Marcia Hamilton, which is a hairstylist friend of mine.
Yes, I love Marcia.
She gave me the best advice, and her best advice was, you are not them.
Didn't know it. Didn't know it.
Somehow, I just feel like now everything is on 10.
Right.
Because now you can take a picture, you can put it on Instagram, and everybody that don't know no better think that your life is their life.
Right.
Listen, people might see me with Whoopi Goldberg. I don't have 1%. I ain't even talking about 10, 20. I don't have 1% of Whoopi Goldberg money. I don't have a Whoopi Goldberg house.
Right.
And the thing about it is, I don't try to act as though I have a Whoopi Goldberg life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even when I'm in her life, catch this part, when you're in their space, still know where your space begins and ends.
Right.
Because I think what happens is you are inserted in this life, and then, especially if it's a regular for you, you're around it all the time.
And they'll make you feel comfortable too.
Yeah.
That's the setup.
Yeah, that's the setup.
That's the setup. You my friend, blah, 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 blah. You think you're a friend.
Right.
Mess that face up one time. You're out like the old bag. You gotta remember that.
Right.
You're just as disposable.
Let somebody that's popping come along.
The
minute. All of a sudden, you wondering why you ain't on the next job and why they even pick somebody else.
And it has nothing to do with you.
It has nothing to do with
not your skill, not anything. Can't take it personal.
It's the job. You do have to wear a tough skin. And don't take anything personal.
Don't take anything personal.
And don't be mad if somebody else starts working with the client that you work. That's why I'm so immersed in my faith, because I just have to believe that God is moving things the way they're supposed to, and I can't focus on, because your feelings will get hurt when you lose the client, or the person starts going to somebody else, and you're like, well, what did I do wrong? And you try
and I'm not gonna lie, it does hurt a little bit. It does. Like you start to wonder, did I make her foundation look Dang, but did I say something stupid?
Right, you are replaying
but
it
sometimes all. Is the other person's cheaper.
Yeah.
The other person is closer.
Yeah.
The other person is always available.
Yeah.
So when you're not
Especially if
always
you're good,
available,
then you're doing other
Yeah.
people, you're not always available.
Right.
Or the person might just be better than you.
Yeah, or the person may just be better than you.
And you can accept that too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Then you build your skills up.
get it back up.
Right.
All right. All right. So tell us about your newest venture. You have become the co-founder of Luvanya Beauty. And what is Luvanya Beauty?
I want to start by saying, you know, my aesthetic with skin and makeup has always been to do makeup, but you look like yourself.
Gotcha.
I'm not gonna build a new face on you.
Gotcha.
I'm just not. I want to enhance what you already have. And you know, my favorite things was skin. I've always been about foundation. And let me tell you why. Because before I moved to New York, I would never forget this one makeup artist that was like, and she was good too. I'm not gonna say her name. But she was like, child, I don't know what he moving to New York for. He can't do no foundation. Oh, I'll never forget that.
So you was determined. She is not going.
And that's, you know, you use that to build on. So I've always loved great skin, and because I did go to aesthetic school and I learned about skin, I also treat my client's skin. So with Puff and Travis and, you know, these people, I make sure I take care of their skin first, because you can't put foundation on bumpy skin or you have Nestle Crunch. So you want to have a solid foundation, which is your skin, so you can put that on. So it's always, you know, that, and I can always tell when someone has taken care of their skin the night before. So I've always been on this venture of creating skincare. I thought about makeup, but there were so many people doing it, and I just didn't want to get lost in the fray, and then, you know, that whole thing. But skincare is always still one of my things. You know, you go to my bathroom, child, it is every single product, every single skincare product and stuff. So, you know, working with all these brands, and, you know, from La Mer to Orlane to, you know, all these products. So I've learned, you know, what works and what doesn't work. And I want to pivot back to, you know, that whole agent thing. Agencies are great, but a manager is better. Crowd management has been phenomenal for me, and they are literally now my backbone in how I move and how I navigate everything. EJ introduced me to these amazing doctors who they love health and they love healthy skin, but they don't want to, you know, put a whole bunch of chemicals and, you know, things like that, because what you put on top of your skin gets absorbed, and that's also another thing that makes you unhealthy that people don't realize. You know, meeting with them, and then we discussed some things, and we pretty much had the same, you know, aesthetic. So we came up with an amazing product. This is like 3 years in the making. And I'm proud to say that this is our first little baby. It is exfoliating serum. So this is...
So what made you go with an exfoliating serum first?
Well, because
I'm sure this is the first of many.
Yeah, this is the first of many. We have 2 new SKUs that are being released. Yeah, but we wanted to actually do something that really helps the skin at night, because at night your skin repairs itself. Your whole body repairs itself at night. So why not use something that's 100% vegan, cruelty-free, that has a lot of natural active ingredients in there to help boost that healing process and get rid of the rosacea, get rid of the redness, you know, help it naturally exfoliate your skin with the hyaluronic acid, brightening your skin with the, you know, grapeseed oil and the guava, which is one of the main ingredients in the elixir. And so, yeah, we did that.
It feels really good, and I'm not just saying it because you're my friend and I'm trying to sell it. But I actually just putting it on my skin when it came out, I realized it wasn't a heavy, overly, you know, heavy serum. It felt like water. And
because there's no fillers.
It absorbed right into my skin.
That's the thing. Like a lot of products, because they're cheap, you know, a lot of brands, even the luxury ones, they add a lot of fillers and a lot of unnatural products and artificial products in there, which creates like a cute scent, or it makes it thicker for this. This is a natural product. So this is basically the natural additives that are in there.
So how many, is this a every night? Well, I mean, how often do you use?
You can use it every night.
Every
night. It's gentle enough, even though it has glycolic acid in there, it is gentle enough. It's a small percentage of that just to do the natural exfoliation in the skin at night. But you can use it every single night. It's still gentle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I ain't got none yet, but I mean.
Well, obviously this was yours.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Well,
I guess so.
Look at the Lord. Well, thank you. I'm gonna take it. But no, that's what's up. So where do you ultimately want to go with your career? Like what would be next? What's the next chapter for Merrell?
So of course, building out the Lavanya brand with more moisturizers and oils and maybe a sister serum.
Will you do a cleanser?
A cleanser. The basic things that are usually in daily routine. But aside of that, I feel like I am blessed, and I feel like I need to pay it forward. So I'll be doing a lot of outreach with some of the LGBTQ communities, maybe teaching some new women that are now transitioning into the new phase of their life. Because everyone doesn't know how to do makeup.
Right.
So if I can aid in helping you in some of the things that you would like to do to help you transition to the new phase of your life, I really have really been into that. And just helping the youth and helping sure they don't get lost and caught out there and they just stay on their journey, because New York is a beast.
So who are you telling?
A beast. And it could be that one friend that you love so much that will take you off the rails. Because not that they're doing it on purpose, but they don't know what they're doing either.
Right. We're all out here trying to figure it out.
trying to figure out life. So, help guiding the youth and help, doing that, and maybe a book.
Oh. Well, you have a story to tell.
I have a story to tell. So, yeah, a couple of things. I'm still mapping out some things, and that's why.
A makeup book, like a how-to kind of with pictures and all that
more
stuff?
of a how-to, and also a gadget that I cannot wait.
Okay.
I cannot wait till this comes out.
Yes.
Like, I am ready, and this hopefully will be the thing that'll tip me over so I can vacation in Fiji. While my money works for me.
Right, and
so,
I have a place to go.
No, you can fly
Africa?
over from with your charter plane.
With my charter plane.
With your plane.
That I have.
Where you at? Child in Bali again. I love it over here.
I keep a little shindig over here.
Bali, I mean. See, I ain't never been nowhere. Bali.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. We get it. We country, so that's why.
Country.
That's why we connect. Country.
That is why we connect.
But yeah, so thank you, Merrell. And I'm very blessed to know you. I'm very grateful for you. I'm glad you did this. And you don't realize how many people are getting ready to learn so much from you. Your testimony alone. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
If giving, you have already started the giving back process right here. So I appreciate you and I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you.
I want my microphone.
Right, Will. We got that. All right, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Behind the Scenes Beauty. If you don't already follow in all those different social sites, please do. Derek Monroe on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And Wes, please give us your handle.
At Merrell Hollis on everything.
On everything. All right, thank you so much.